I killed my mother with my bare hands. Not the flesh and blood kind of killing. Mind you, the kind that leaves bruises you can hide under makeup, but the slow, deliberate unraveling of everything she built, piece by rusted piece, until her empire crumbled under the weight of her own lies. She stared at me across that mahogany conference table in the lawyer's office, her Botox-smooth face cracking like cheap porcelain, and whispered, "Remy, you're not my son, but I was." And by the time the gavel fell, I'd made sure the world knew it, even if it meant dragging her skeletons out into the fluorescent glare for everyone to gawk at. The real shocker? I didn't do it for justice. I did it because the body she stole from me tasted like ashes, and revenge was the only way to spit it back. That rain-slicked night in Seattle, the kind where the Puget Sound fog rolls in like a bad omen. I came home to the house on Queen and Hill expecting the usual, Mom's passive-aggressive notes about my wasted potential, taped to the fridge. A bottle of her favorite Cabernet waiting like a truce. I'd just wrapped a 12-hour shift at the tech startup she secretly funded. Ironic, right? Coding algorithms for neural interfaces that promised to revolutionize human connection. Little did I know, she'd already revolutionized mine, swapping it out for something broken and unrecognizable. The front door wouldn't budge. Key jammed like it was mocking me. I fished out my phone, dialed the smart lock app, and got a cheery denial. Access revoked. Welcome home, intruder. My stomach dropped faster than the Dow during a crash. Mom's Tesla was in the garage. I could hear the low hum of its charger, but when I pounded on the door, it creaked open just enough for Evelyn Hargrove, my own mother, to peer out like I was a Jehovah's Witness peddling salvation she didn't need. "Remy, what the hell are you doing here?" Her voice was ice over steel, the same tone she'd used to get my father in divorce court a decade ago. She was dressed for a gala, emerald gown hugging her Pilates-sculpted frame, diamonds winking from her throat like guilty secrets. "Mom, it's me. Open the door. It's pouring." She glanced over her shoulder, then back at me with eyes that used to crinkle at my Little League home runs. Now they narrowed, calculating. "You're not Remy. My son wouldn't show up looking like that, reeking of failure. Get off my property before I call the cops." I laughed, because what else do you do when your mother gaslights you on her own doorstep? "Mom, it's pouring. I live here. We own this place together. Dads will saw to that." Her lips curled, a predator's smile. "Your father was a fool. And so are you, if you think you have any claim. I changed the locks this morning. You're an adult, Remy, or whoever you are. Time to grow up and get your own life." She slammed the door, the deadbolt clicking like a guillotine. I stood there, soaked to the bone, Seattle's relentless drizzle turning my shirt to a second skin. Neighbors' porch lights flickered on, judgmental eyes behind curtains. This wasn't a spat, this was eviction by ambush. Mom, Evelyn, the queen of Hargrove Biotech, the woman who'd clawed her way from trailer park to boardroom, had just declared war on her only child. And I had no idea it was just the opening salvo. By dawn, I was crashing on Jake's couch in Capitol Hill, nursing black coffee and a hangover of humiliation. Jake, my college roommate turned barista philosopher, handed me a towel and a joint. "Dude, your mom's always been a shark. Remember that time she forgot to pay your tuition to teach you responsibility? This is next level." I scrolled through my email, heart pounding when I saw the attachment from her lawyer, a formal notice. Eviction proceedings initiated. Property ownership, sole proprietorship, Evelyn Hargrove. Your residency terminated effective immediately. No equitable interest claimed. Bullshit. Dad's will had carved out 35% for me upon his death, proceeds from the house sale or inheritance, whichever came first. She'd buried that under layers of trusts and shell companies, but it was there, etched in legal ink. But the real gut punch was the photo attached, a mugshot. Me or someone who looked exactly like me, staring blankly from a King County jail cell. Timestamp: 2 nights ago. Charge: aggravated assault on a federal witness. My hands shook as I zoomed in. That wasn't my face. Not quite. The jawline was softer, eyes a shade too dull, but the bone structure. God. It was close. Too close. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I drove to the precinct, flashing my ID like it meant something. The desk sergeant, a grizzled vet with a mustache like a broom bristle, pulled up the file.
Yeah, kid.
Remy Hargrove. Beat the shit out of some whistleblower from your mom's company. Released on bail, your mother posted it. Actually. Weird family dynamic. Huh. My mother? I choked. I was at work. Check the logs, Neuralink West. 8 p.m. to midnight. He shrugged. Alibi's solid, but the Vic ID'd you. Facial rec matched. Case pending. It hit me then. In the sterile hum of the bullpen, this wasn't betrayal. This was erasure. Mom hadn't just locked me out, she'd rewritten me. And the how? It traced back to Hargrove Biotech's black budget project, Project Echo. Body transference. Not sci-fi hocus-pocus, but cutting-edge neural mapping, tested in shadows away from FDA prying eyes. I'd coded the firewalls myself, blind to the endgame. She'd swapped me. Slipped something into my post-shift smoothie at the lab, probably that energy boost she'd insisted on. Woke up in a holding cell. Head throbbing. Body wrong. Not mine. Hers?
No. Worse.
A patsy's, a low-life drifter she'd plucked from the streets. Dosed and duplicated. My consciousness jammed into his husk, his into oblivion or a lab freezer. And she'd taken my shell, my life, my home. The realization burned like battery acid. I'd borne her sins before, covered for her business trips that were really trysts with venture capitalists. Fudged expense reports to hide embezzlement from Dad's estate. But this? Framing me for assaulting a whistleblower who'd threatened to expose Echo's human trials? That was the crime I'd shoulder now. Unless I fought back. I didn't call the cops. Not yet. Revenge isn't a 911 call, it's a scalpel. Slow and precise. First stop, the public library. Anonymizing my searches on a burner laptop. Echo's specs leaked in whispers on dark web forums, neural lace implants. Quantum entanglement for consciousness transfer. Reversible. If you had the codes. And I did. Buried in my old commits. Time-stamped before the swap. But accessing them meant infiltrating her fortress. The house on Queen and wasn't just home, it was a smart home panopticon. Cameras in every crevice. AI sentinels programmed to her voice. I'd have to go in, as the ghost she made me. That night, under a moonless sky, I scaled the back fence, pulse hammering like a jackhammer. The drifter's body, call him Eddie, from the faded tattoo on his forearm, was wiry. Scarred from street fights, I didn't remember winning. It moved like a borrowed suit, too loose in the shoulders, too tight in the gut. I jimmied the garden shed lock with a credit card, poetic. Using the one she'd cut up last Christmas and slipped inside. The server rack hummed in the corner. Mom's hobby for off-grid backups. I patched in via Ethernet. Fingers flying over a cracked tablet. Firewalls I'd built myself parted like Red Sea silk. There, the echo logs. Swap initiated 48 hours prior. Target, Remy Hargrove. Source, Subject E, 47. Her notes, clinical as a vivisection. Contingency for whistleblower threat. Asset secured. My asset. My life. But deeper in the drives, buried under encrypted partitions, the real rot festered. Dad hadn't died in a boating accident. She'd dosed him too, early prototype, botched transfer. His consciousness trapped in limbo, body dumped in the sound like chum. The coroner ruled drowning, she'd ruled cover-up. I'd signed the papers as executor. 18 and grieving. Too blind to see the forgery in her tears. Betrayal doesn't come in waves, it comes in tsunamis, pulling you under before you gasp. I downloaded it all: logs, manifests, the whistleblower's affidavit naming her as the architect of illegal trials on homeless vets. Eddie was one, Dad another casualty in her climb. I logged out. Heart a war drum. And that's when the floodlights snapped on. Her voice. Tinny through outdoor speakers. Intruder alert. Police en route. She was watching. Always. I bolted. Thorns from the rose trellis shredding my palms, Eddie's palms, as I vaulted the fence. Sirens wailed in the distance. A siren's song of doom. But I had the files now. Zipped and cloud-synced to a ghost account. Evidence enough to burn her world. Hiding out in a Belltown motel that smelled like regret and ramen. I plotted. Sue her? For the house. Yes, 35% was my foothold. A legal crowbar to pry open the rest. But controversy brewed in my veins. The suit would drag Echo into the light, naming innocents as test subjects, maybe even freeing Dad's Echo if it lingered in some server purgatory. Moral lines blurred. Was justice worth doxing the drifters she'd victimized? Or was it just my ego? Clawing back what she'd stolen? Lawyer up. I hit legal aid, spinning a tale of disinheritance to a pro bono shark named Carla Ruiz, fierce. Latina firebrand who'd toppled slumlords for breakfast. Emotional distress. Fraudulent conveyance, she murmured over bad coffee. Eyes lighting as I slid her the wool excerpt. And this assault charge? Smells like setup. We countersue for defamation. Pierce the trusts. But kid, Remy, you sure you want the house? It's tainted. Tainted like me. I nodded. Throat tight. It's all I have left of him. Filing was catharsis wrapped in chaos. Court date set for circuit. Headlines brewing. Heiress evicts son over what? Mom's PR machine spun it as tough love for a troubled heir, leaking my arrest to the Seattle Times. Pundits on cable gnawed it like jerky. Was Evelyn Hargrove a monster mom or a victim of millennial entitlement? Twitter, X, whatever, erupted. Memes of lock emojis and eviction notices flooding my feed under Mommy Dearest 2.
But the swap gnawed at me.
In Eddie's skin. Mirrors lied. I avoided them, focusing on the grind. Depositions where her lawyers grilled me on delusional claims, psych evals hinting at Munchausen by proxy. Controversial? Hell yes. I toyed with going public, YouTube confessional. Voice modulator hiding the gravel in Eddie's throat, but held back. Timing was everything. Climax brewed in the shadows. I needed the reversal device, Echo's crown jewel. A helmet rig in her private lab beneath the house. Infiltrating meant risk. Guards now. Post-dash break-in. And her. Parading in my body at galas. Laughing with donors who thought she was the prodigal son returned. One bourbon-fueled night. Resolve cracked. I called Jake. I need a favor. Explosives? No. Distract the security with a fake gas leak. He laughed. Then sobered. Remy, this is felony territory. She's your mom. Not anymore, I growled. She's a thief. The heist went sideways from jump. Jake's cherry bomb in the sewer line drew the guards lakeside. But Mom was waiting in the basement. My face twisted in triumph. Knew you'd come crawling back. Eddie. I froze. Pulse thunderous. Up close. The swap's seam showed. My old tattoo on the wrist faded wrong. Eyes too sharp with her malice. Give it back, I rasped. Eddie's voice a stranger's rasp. The body. The life. She laughed. A champagne bubble of cruelty.
Why?
This one's better, youth. Potential. Yours was. Adequate. But Dad's echo? That was practice.
Now.
The whistleblowers silenced. Echoes greenlit for billions. You're just collateral. Like him. Her confession hung. Recorder whirring in my pocket. But she lunged, grabbing for it, nails raking my Eddie's cheek. We grappled, bodies clashing in the hum of servers. Her strength my old gym routine mocking me. I pinned her, helmet rig sparking as it tumbled free. Swap back, I demanded, forcing the nodes to her temples. Or this tape goes viral. She spat, defiant. Do it. But know this, I didn't swap you alone. Your father's will? Forged by you. In blackout. You helped kill him. Remy. Echo's first volunteer, your idea. To save him from cancer lies. The world tilted. Flash. Hospital room. Dad wheezing. Me whispering. Mom says the transfer will fix you. Her hand on my shoulder. Guiding the signature. Buried secret unearthed. I'd borne the guilt. But she'd planted the seed. Twist knifed deep. I wasn't victim. I was architect. Amnesiac to my complicity. She hadn't stolen everything. I'd handed her the keys. I activated the rig anyway. Agony ripped through, neural fire. Identities colliding like freight trains. Consciousness yanked. Bodies convulsing. When the blur cleared, I was me again, Remy. In Remy's skin. Staring at her slumped in Eddie's husk. But the tape? It captured her confession and mine. Implied in silence. Upload or bury. Courtroom loomed. I chose truth. Jagged as it was. Filed the suit. Appended the audio. 35% claims stood. But with strings, co-ownership meant shared scrutiny. Echo's empire fracturing under subpoenas. She fought dirty. Character witnesses painting me as patricidal. Psych reports deeming me unstable. Pundits raged. Hero son or Frankenstein's monster. Mom or murderer. Gavel fell on a gray afternoon. Judge. A no-nonsense ex-prosecutor. I'd as both. Equitable distribution. 35% to plaintiff. Trusts pierced. Full disclosure on Hargrove Biotech operations mandated. Mom, Evelyn in Eddie's broken shell, glared from the defense table. Her power suit hanging loose. You'll regret this. Son. I leaned in, voice steady. Already do. But freedom's a bitch. Ending? Debatable as hell. I got the house share, sold my cut. Funded a foundation for swap victims. Dad's redemption arc.
She?
Indicted. Empire ash. Rotting in a cell that echoed her crimes. Happy? For some. Tragic? If you buy blood's thicker.
Me?
I stare at mirrors now, wondering whose sins I still carry. Revenge mends nothing. It just swaps the locks on your soul. The fallout hit like Seattle's winter gale, unrelenting, stripping leaves from trees you'd sworn were evergreen. That first week post-verdict, I holed up in a rented studio downtown, walls thin as conscience, listening to the city pulse with my name. Remy Hargrove, victim or viper, screamed the stranger's cover. A pixelated split shot of Mom's gala smile next to my mugshot glow-up. Talk radio ate it alive. Callers split 60/40. Half cheering the prodigal prince's payback, the other decrying Oedipal overkill. One ex-hippie from Fremont croaked, "Body swaps? That's Big Pharma's wet dream turned nightmare." "Kid's a saint for blowing the whistle," a Ballard soccer mom countered. He sued his own mother. Over a house? Heartless. Heartless. The word stuck like gum on my Nikes. I'd reclaimed my skin. Sure, the swap's aftereffects fading to phantom itches. Like growing into shoes too big, but the house? It loomed in my dreams. Queen Anne's crown jewel mocking me, with its turrets and ghosts. 35% ownership meant veto power on sales. A thorn in Mom's side as she scrambled to liquidate assets before feds froze them. Our lawyers danced a toxic tango, emails laced with legalese barbs. Deposition dates circled like duels. But the real tension coiled in the underbelly, echoes remnants. The feds raided Hargrove Biotech the day after. Black SUVs swarming the Bellevue campus like ants on a picnic. I watched from a coffee shop across the street, latte cooling untouched, as agents in windbreakers hauled servers and sedated lab techs. Whispers from Carla. They're tracing trials back to 18. Vets from Joint Base Lewis McCord. Dosed without consent. Your dad's in the manifest. Deceased. Procedure failure. Deceased. The word hollowed me. I'd always pictured him fishing the sound. Pipe smoke curling. Not floating belly up with a neural lace fried in his skull. That night, alone with a bottle of Macallan, Dad's brand, I pieced the puzzle. Project Echo wasn't Mom's brainchild. It was our family's original sin. Grandpa Hargrove, World War II codebreaker turned pharma hack, sketched the blueprints in Nom flashbacks. Dad inherited the patents, buried them in R&D debt. Mom, she exhumed them, fueled by ambition and a string of lovers who whispered immortality between silk sheets. And me, the buried secret she'd unearthed in court, my complicity. Blackout drunk on grief. 18 and raw. I'd scrawled the consent form. For Dad, her voice cooed, pen in my trembling hand. No memory, just the echo, pun intended, of her saying, "We'll save him together."
Lies.
All of it. I'd borne the forgery's weight, signing away his end, while she pocketed the insurance windfall to fund the lab. Revenge's high crashed hard. Suing for the house felt petty now. A child's tantrum against a god's indifference. But petty was my weapon, controversial.
Yes.
Dragging family laundry through tabloids, but it cracked her armor. Headlines shifted. Hargrove heir exposes body-snatching scandal. Investors fled. Board members lawyered up. And Mom? She went dark. Eddie's body a prison, she couldn't pretty up with fillers. Then the calls started. Anonymous burners. Voices distorted like bad VoIP. Remy? We were E12. E27. She promised cures. Gave us nightmares instead. Vets. Mostly. Haunted men with twitches and gaps in their timelines. Souls shuffled like a crooked deck. 1. A grizzled Marine named Torres met me in a VFW hall off Aurora, nursing a PBR under neon anchors. Woke up in my CO skin once. Shot myself to get out. Bullet bounced, wrong skull. Wrong density. His laugh was gravel. Your mom's a devil in heels.
But you.
You got the devil's luck. Luck or curse. I funneled them to Carla. Building a class action hydra, wrongful experimentation. Identity theft on a federal scale. Controversial decisions piled up. Do I name the innocents? Risk their privacy for leverage? Leak trial footage? Blurry helmet cams of screams digitized to silence? Each choice a razor. Slicing, right from necessary. Mom struck back subterranean. Hackers, hers. No doubt docs my studio. Swastikas spray-painted on the door. Pizzas delivered hourly till the super evicted me. Jake crashed with me in his van, parked by the locks of Golden Gardens. Passing a flask. This is Mad Max shit.
Man.
What's next? Flamethrowers? Worse, I muttered. Reversal. The rig. I'd stashed it post-heist. Helmet dented but functional. Nodes humming with residual charge. In a rented garage in Soto. Under flickering fluorescence. I tinkered. Sympathetic to Dad's echo? The logs hinted yes, fragments trapped in the cloud. A digital poltergeist. Activating meant risk. Overload could fry my synapses. Leave me catatonic or worse. A hybrid horror. But Dad's voice, imagined or not, whispered from the dark. Fight dirty. Son. She did. I did. Wire the rig to a jury rig server. Broadcast ping on Echo's frequency. Static crackled.
Then.
Him. Garbled. Like underwater AM. Remy. Evelyn.
Leet.
Cancer. Hoax. Hoax. The twist within the twist. Mom hadn't swapped to save. She'd poison him slow. Radium-laced meds from early trials. Staging the cure to test transference. Dad knew, confronted her. Threatened exposure. The accident? Assisted suicide masked as failure. Rage rebooted me. I compiled the audio, Dad's ghost testimony, into a flash drive. Hand-delivered to the U.S. Attorney's office. No fanfare. Just a Dropbox slot and a prayer. By morning, CNN looped it. Bombshell recording. Hargrove founder accuses wife of murder. Her empire imploded. Stock plummeted 80%. SEC probes spawned like roaches. Mom surfaced in a presser. Eddie's face gaunt under TV makeup. Voice a croak, slander. My son, imposter, forges to destroy me. But the public smelled blood. Echo exposed trended. Protesters chaining themselves to biotech gates. Signs reading my body. My soul. Court reconvened for supplemental hearings. Air thick as cordite. Mom took the stand. Perjuring with flair. Remy always resented me. Jealous of my success. This swap delusion? Schizophrenia. Hereditary. Gasps rippled. My psych eval was clean. But her eyes, my old eyes, betrayed the bluff. Darting to her counsel like a cornered fox. My turn. I rose. Suit tailored sharp. Voice steady as the judge's gavel. Your Honor, the house isn't the prize. It's the key. 35% grants access to records, basement ledgers. Hidden vaults, proving Echo's atrocities. I-slit exhibits, manifests, victim affidavits. Dad's echo waveform spiking like a flatline heartbeat. Cross-exam was a bloodbath. Her lawyer, a silver fox from Scadden, pounced. Mr. Hargrove, you admit complicity in your father's treatment? Forged consent. I met his gaze. Room silent. I was a boy. Manipulated.
But yes.
And that's why I fight now, not for absolution, but exposure. Murmurs swelled. The judge banged for order. Controversial? Undeniably. Admitting guilt mid-trial risked perjury charges. But it humanized me, flawed son versus flawless fraud. Outside. Post-adjournment scrum. Mics thrust like spears. Remy. Was the swap revenge or redemption? I paused. Flashbulbs popping. Both. And neither. It's survival. Nights blurred into strategy sessions with Carla. Takeout cartons, mapping war rooms. Jake hacked burner cams into Mom's penthouse. Post-raid. She'd decamped to a Belltown area. Guards like paparazzi shadows. Footage showed her pacing. Eddie's hands gesturing wild. Phone rants to ghost allies. The little shit thinks he won. But I have insurance. Remy's real secret. Secret. Mine? Or another Barry. Paranoia itched. I double-checked commits. Old emails. Nothing. But sleep evaded. Dreams splicing Eddie's street brawls with Dad's drowning gasps. Climax crested unexpected. Torres, the Marine, called frantic. She's summoning subjects, loyal ones. Warehouse in Soto. Tonight. Trap or truth? I geared up, hoodie, gloves, rig in a duffel and rolled out. Van tires chewing industrial grit. The warehouse loomed, rust-eaten relic from Amazon's pre-boom days. Floodlights cutting fog like accusations. Inside, a circle of husks, swapped survivors. Eyes vacant. Wired to jury-rigged nodes. Mom at center. Conductor's baton a cattle prod. Remy comes. We transfer en masse. Bury him in multiplicity. Echoes in echoes. Her plan. Overload the network. Fragment my consciousness across bodies. A digital diaspora. Power grab ultimate. Control the chorus. Silence the solo. I burst in. Rig humming. Torres at my flank with a pipe. Chaos erupted. Prods sparked. Bodies thrashed. Her scream, my scream. Traitor. We clashed amid cables. Her and Eddie's frailty, but fueled by venom. I dodged a swing. Countered with a shove. She crumpled. Nodes grazing her temple. End it, she hissed. Join us.
No.
I activated. Mass reversal. Waves pulsing like a defibrillator heart. Bodies convulsed. Identities snapping back. Torres reclaiming his frame. Others blinking awake in their own skins. Mom, locked in Eddie's shell.
Permanent.
She laughed. Blood-flecked. Twist. Son, you're me now. The house? Sell it. Burn it. It's poison. Feds swarmed postin' on tip. Cuffs clicking on her wrists. Dawn broke gray. Warehouse a tomb of tangled wires. Back in court. Verdict sealed. 35% mine. But with strings, oversight board for echo remnants. Restitution fund from assets. I deeded my share to victims. House auction for pennies. Proceeds to the cause. Happy? Tragic? Debates rage in bars and blogs. Did Remy redeem or ruin? I walk Queen Anne's Hills now. Ghost-free. But shadows linger. Revenge swaps nothing. It just illuminates the mirrors we shatter. Months bled into a fragile normalcy, the kind you tiptoe around like cracked ice. Seattle softened into spring, cherry blossoms dusting Pike Place like confetti from a funeral, but my world stayed winter sharp. The house sold to a tech bro flipping it into ARMs. My 35% check clearing with a memo for services rendered, justice. I banked it into the Echo Survivors Trust, a lean operation run from a Fremont co-op, therapy for the swapped, lawyers for the litigants, hackers tracing digital ghosts. Torres chaired it. His marine bark softened to mentor's gravel. Calling weekly. You're doing good.
Kid.
But don't forget to live.
Live.
Easier preached than coded. Mornings. I jog Alki Beach. Salt wind scouring lungs. But mirrors lied still. Eyes too haunted. Laugh lines etched premature. The swap scar. Neural echoes. Dad's voice murmuring in migraines. Mom's sneer in stress dreams. Carla warned of PTSD suits, but I waved them off. Billable hours on my breakdown? No thanks. Work pulled me back. Freelance gigs hardening firewalls for ethical AI firms. Irony thick as fog. Jake dragged me to dive bars. IPA toasts to the man who body snatched his body back. Dates flickered. A barista with tattoos mapping constellations. A journalist probing for the real story. But intimacy balked. Who'd want a man whose skin was reclaimed property? Controversy clung like static. Op-eds dissected the trial. Hargrove v. Hargrove. Triumph of the individual or cautionary tale of familial fracture. Pundits on Joe Rogan Light pods debated. Remy's controversial. Admitting complicity? Ballsy. But suing mom? That's American as apple pie and arsenic. Protests morphed to panels. Me dodging invites. TEDx on identity in the age of echo, skipping for solitude. But mom? She festered in federal holding. Eddie's body wasting under fluorescent pallor. Appeals stacking like Jenga. Her lawyers pinged mine. Plea deals. Witness tampering whispers. Evelyn claims new evidence your forgery. Remy. Full confession.
Forgery.
The hook she'd sunk deep.
Nights.
I'd pore over Dad's medicals. Radium traces glowing like guilt. Had I known, push the pen with intent. Or just blind faith in her miracle? Therapy unpacked it slow. You were the buffer. Remy. She groomed you as accomplice. Then scapegoat. Groomed. The word curdled. Flash to childhood, mom's lessons in a home office. Me on her lap decoding patents while Dad grilled salmon outside. Powers in the swap. Baby. Trade weakness for strength. I'd giggled. 5 and fearless. By teens, it soured. Her affairs. His suspicions.
My role as spy.
Tell mommy if daddy's mean. Betrayal's roots ran tap deep. Twists aftershock. The hoax cancer. Dad's oncologist. Unearthed by trust investigators. Confessed under immunity. Staged diagnosis. Experimental toxins to volunteer him for echo. Mom's brainwave. Immortality via transference. But needing a dying man for plausible deniability. I'd borne the lie at his bedside. Holding hands that trembled from poison. Not tumors. Revenge's arc bent here. From vengeance to vigil. I greenlit a docuseries, Echoes Unbound. Cameras rolling on survivor stories. My interview the anchor. I sued for a house. I told the lens. Puget Sound framing my shot. But really, I sued for souls. Mine included. Filming day. Gale force winds whipping. Crew cursing tripods. Cut to Torres. She took my command, left me in a junkie's veins. Remy gave it back. Cut to a vet named Lila. Swapped mid-PTSD trial. Woke up male. Memories clashing. Wanted to die. Now, I fight. My close-up. Raw. Unscripted. Mom locked me out to lock me in, her narrative.
The suit was my key.
Controversial? Damn right. Family's sacred in America. Till it's not. Then it's battlefield. Heirs to acclaim and backlash. Fox called it sensationalist sob story. MSNBC, brave exposé. X lit up. Remy redemption versus Hargrove hoax. Bots amplifying both. Death threats ping my inbox. Mom's fan club. Fringe biohackers decrying censoring progress. Then the package, unmarked, dropped at the co-op. Inside, a neural lace prototype. Nodes corroded. Note in her script. Finish what we started. Or I will. Threat? Taunt? Feds swept it. Traces to her cell block smuggler. But sleep shattered. I dreamed transfers infinite. Souls looping in torment. Climax Redux brewed in appeals court. Mom's Hail Mary. Habeas corpus on identity fraud. Her pitch. Eddie's body invalidates charges. Swap her back. Void the trial. Absurd. But judges nibbled. Due process for the imprisoned consciousness. Carla prepped counters. Precedents from Gitmo ghosts. Amicus briefs from ethicists.
Me?
I volunteered testimony. Rig and tow as prop. This device stole lives. Reversing her? Rewards the thief. Hearing day. Federal courthouse granite cold. Gallery packed. Survivors shoulder to shoulder. Press row buzzing. Mom wheeled in. Eddie's frame shrunken. Eyes, my eyes, burning. She testified first. Voice amplified to pathos. I'm Evelyn Hargrove. Biotech pioneer. This shell? Remy's doing. Revenge for tough love. He forged Dad's end. I protected the legacy.
Gasps.
Her lawyer slid exhibits. My juvenile emails. Mommy's secret project, cool. Twisted to conspiracy. My rebuttal. Rig demo. Safe mode. Projecting waveforms. Dad's echo flickered. Evelyn. Poison. Court hushed. Text verified authenticity. Cross. Mr. Hargrove. This echo. Your fabrication? To bury your guilt. I leaned to Mike. Steady. Guilt's mine to bear. But truth? It's in the data. She swapped me to frame an assault. Cover echoes murders. The house suit? Distraction. This wave at gallery is reckoning. Judges recessed. Tension taut as bowstring. Verdict leaked pre-announce. Denied. Mom's appeals crushed. Sentence. Life. No parole. Outside. Scrum again. Remy. Mercy for Mom. I paused. Rain starting. Mercy's what she denied. Justice? That's the controversy. Post here. Trust thrived, grants rolling. Echo patents open-sourced for healing. Not hubris. I dated steady. The journalist. Elena. Her questions turning tender. You're not defined by the swap, she'd say. Fingers tracing my scars. But secrets burrow. One dawn. Elena asleep. I scanned old drives, final purge. Buried file. My voice. Teen timbre. Mom. Does Dad know about the poison? Her reply. Sure. Baby. It's our swap. He gets weak, we get strong. I'd known. Not full, but enough. The twist reversed again. Victim. Villain.
Both.
Born her crime? Hell. I'd fertilized it. I deleted it. Unuploaded. Some controversies die quiet. Nights. Alky waves whisper absolution. Revenge? A house divided. 35% mine to rebuild. A happy ending? If healing counts. Tragic? If cycles repeat. Readers, you debate.
Me?
I lock no doors now, open. For ghosts to pass. Summer-scorched Seattle unnatural, drought-cracking blacktop. Wildfires smudging Olympics red as warning lights. The trust balloon to NGO status. Board meetings in repurposed lofts overlooking the sound. Agendas packed. Victim reparations. FDA lobbying against transference light. Startups aping echo. Torres ribbed me over IPAs. From lockout to lock-in. You're the boss now.
Boss.
The word chafed. Mom's shadow loomed long. Her cell a federal black site in Walla Walla. Calm's severed post-appeal. But echoes persist, literal ones. Dad's waveform. Digitized relic. I ported to a secure vault. Occasional pings like voicemails from beyond. Fragmented advice. Fish the sound. Son. Let go. Therapy called it closure. I called it haunting. Controversy evolved, metastasizing to culture wars. Bioethicists penned tomes. Hargrove, the swap that split the soul. Pod saves dissected my decision tree, suing family a quintessential American individualism, critics crowing narcissistic nihilism. Elena, now partner in crime and coffee, laughed it off. Your viral villain or viral hero. Own the algorithm. Own it, I tried. Keynote at South by Southwest. Stage lights hot as interrogation. Crowd a sea of tattooed techies. We chase immortality. I boomed. Rig holograms spinning behind. But swap souls? That's not progress. It's predation. Q&A turned thorny. Remy? Your mom. Evil genius or product of patriarchy? I hedged. Both. Like me. Backstage. Elena hugged fierce.
Proud.
But call your ghosts off. Migraines spiking. Dad's murmurs louder. Evelyn's secret.
Deeper.
Deeper. The itch returned, unfinished business. Carla flagged anomalies. Trust audits showing phantom withdrawals. Echo patents licensed quietly to offshore shells. Mom's reach. Post-mortem? I dug. Freelance coders, nose to grindstone. Traced to a Cayman's front, EH. Holdings. Her, or proxy. Elena urged caution. Don't swap back to paranoia. Remy. Too late. Night run to the old house. Now a soulless flip. Staging pristine, I jimmied a basement window. Nostalgia a thief's accomplice. Servers gutted. But a wall safe hummed, biometric. My thumbprint still gold. Inside, ledger.
Aaron.
Mom's flourish. Remy's cut, 10% royalties. Echo version 2.0. My cut. The buried bomb. I'd inked a side deal. 18 again. For college. Not forgery collusion. She'd funneled my tuition from trials. Blood money laundered through trusts. The house 35%? Tip of the iceberg. I own slivers of the empire I'd helped build. Twist inverted. Not born her crime. I'd co-signed it.
Revenge?
I'd sued my mirror. Crisis crested in Walla Walla. Visitors booth plexithick. Mom, Evelyn in Eddie's ruin, wheezed through vents. Knew you'd come. The ledger? Your inheritance. Son. We built this.
We.
I snarled. You poisoned Dad. She grinned. Teeth yellowed. He begged, cancer real. Pain endless. Swap was mercy. You signed. Eager beaver. Then the house stunt? Your idea, test her loyalty. Lies? Truth? Her eyes. My old windows. Reflected certainty. Flash, divorce Eve. Her tears. Remy, lock me out. Prove you're mine. A game. Twisted to tragedy. I reeled. Booth spinning. Why frame me? Insurance. Whistleblower closing in. You were perfect, Patsy. Our shared sins.
But you fought back.
Proud.
Proud.
The word detonated. I stormed out. Ledger burning in a roadside blaze. Ashes to the wind. Home. Our Fremont walk-up. Elena waited. Wine poured. Confession spilled. I was her. Not victim, partner. She cupped my face. Past tense.
Now?
Choose. Choice, the controversy's core. Dissolve the trust. Taint of complicity. Or double down. Redeem through ruins? I chose expansion, global outreach. Echo 2 ethical. Consent locked. Therapy mandated. Board voted unanimous. Torres slapping my back. Redemption's messy. Brother. Mom died quiet. Heart failure. Eddie's ticker quitting mid-appeal brief. No funeral. Ashes scattered per will. Sound claiming its due. I fished there once. Rod trembling. Dad's echo silent at last. Ending. House money seated a clinic, neural heels. No swaps. Elena and I wed lakeside. Vows vowing honesty. Happy? If growth counts, debates in comment sections rage. Remy, monster or messiah? Tragic? If sins echo eternal.
Me?
I lock eyes in mirrors. See hybrid, betrayed boy. Vengeful man. Healing human. The suit claimed 35% of home. Heart. Horizon. And that's the American dream. Fractured. Fierce. Forever contested.